So my brother's here to help with the fuel filter. Another thing I wanted to do while the box was off was our auxiliary fuel pickup. Our truck came with the feed and the return lines, but it has an auxiliary pickup to run auxiliary diesel appliances, like our engine heater and our Espar D2 air heater. The problem is that tube only goes down to about half a tank, and I want to extend it. So let's give that a whirl. So this is the auxiliary pickup tube I was mentioning. It looks like it's coming down considerably more than halfway, but I think it's because of the slope of the tank or whatever. This pickup stops picking up at just under a half a tank indicated, which could also be an error with that aftermarket tank. But regardless, I'm going to extend this down so it's nearly or just above this shoe. This is the pickup that normally picks up the fuel. I'm using for this modification just polymer coated brake line because I can find the right diameter readily available, and then a compression fitting which uses these sleeves that will crush it on. Anyway, I've used this before on this piece here. That's a modification I did when I put the tank in originally, which takes the return fuel and shoots it way off in the corner so that aerosolized, bubbly, foamy fuel doesn't get sucked in. Okay, so to measure, all I'm going to do loose it like that. I'm going to have this about that long. And to cut this tubing, I'm just using a household run-of-the-mill plumbing tubing cutter. There we have it, and on this side, a nice clean cut with hopefully no burrs. Okay, then to assemble this, it's fairly straightforward. First put the nut over, then the little sleeve, which is surprisingly a close fit, and this side is much the same. Put the nut on, put the sleeve over that. Okay, so that's that ready to go. As you can see, that's nice and rigid and about a half an inch above our other pickup. Try not to get any crud in there. Then all that's left to do is hook up the fuel lines. So since we had the box off, we've rerouted our diesel fuel line for the Espar D2 and the D5 diesel heaters. And as you can see, they're nice and rigidly tied down. And I'm also very happy to see that our paint, the Pour 15 paint that we redid our frame with is in perfect condition.
The next day.
Okay, so we built this bracket, which sits here between these two cross members. All painted with 415, so it's good and rust proof, and it adds some good frame strengthening in there too. So this is the fuel filter assembly I've come up with. These are actually intended for semis. I got it at the Cat dealership. But these filters are much like oil filters. This one has a water separator built in, and they spin on like oil filters. And I just have two of these assemblies in series. And that's what this bracket was built to hold here.
Think. Pretty good, huh?
Perfect. Okay, so this is our midship tank. I bought this at an auto wrecker, and I'd hoped that it would fit, obviously. It's supposed to sit up in here, but I've learned since then that the F-550 frame rails are 2 inches narrower than 350s, and this carrier bearing for the drive shaft has this block that it's mounted to, and it's hitting there. And so the obvious solution is to make room, or make it fit. So that's the area I need to not be there. I've heated it up as hot as I can tolerate, or as hot as I think it can tolerate with a hot air gun, and then leaned on it with a 2x4, and it had no effect. So if anyone has a wise idea about cross-linked polyethylene gas tanks, fuel tanks, and how to get this in there, leave a comment in the doobly-doo.